So I did tell you that I would be interviewing Caleb Rapoport from Nerd Halen once he got back from his tour, basically. It was like a two-city tour or something like that.
It was 3 cities in 8 days.
That's beautiful. How did it feel
Yeah.
to tour?
Definition of touring is waking up in a parking lot on a corner of a block somewhere in a city, and then you leave that night and you never left that block, but you say you were in that city. It's really funny. That's touring.
Okay, so where was the first place you went?
We flew to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, which was, we had to land in Knoxville. So we got a connector from, it was Los Angeles to Atlanta, and then a connector up to Knoxville, and then like a 40-minute van ride up the hill into Gatlinburg, which is this really cool kind of touristy mountain town in the Smoky Mountains, eastern Tennessee. And a show called, a festival, 3-day festival called The Monsters on the Mountain. And about 25 different bands over 3 days. And we played the late show in a theater that was part of this huge convention center. So it was a smaller room than the big room. The big room was a huge hall. And they had 2 main stages side by side so they could easily switch between acts. And they put us in this other theater that was on the complex. But it was cool because it was more intimate. And, you know, we were at the end of the night, right after the headliner ended downstairs. Everyone came upstairs to us, and it was a great energy. And we played about an hour and 10 minutes and had a great response. It was actually the first time I could, you know, when you can feel the audience cheer, more than hear it, you know. So after every song, you could kind of like, you got like a wave of energy. And that was one of the first times I think I felt that with this band. So
did it feel good?
It felt amazing. God.
Yeah.
That's why people do this shit.
Yeah.
That is that feeling.
I just want to quickly ask, do you have a beer on stage?
I had water there, but I had beers throughout the evening and daytime.
Nice.
And Jeffrey, the drummer, and I, Jeff Page, have a beer and a shot ritual about half hour before showtime. So we do a shot of Jack. He likes Jameson's, I do Jack, and
yeah, brilliant.
Kind of loosens us up. But what's ironic is that over a year ago when we started playing again after the unpleasantness kept us from playing for a year and a half, I played a 90-minute set, and this had happened before the pandemic where my hand about an hour in would start cramping up. Both of them, actually. And I asked a lot of different guitar players and people if that's happened to them. And it's funny, everyone had a different like fix for that. You know, my bass player, our bass player said, you need to breathe more on stage. You need more oxygen. So I actually got an oxygen, can to have to breathe in. Someone said you need more salt, like sodium, you're deficient with that. So I would eat like salted almonds before the show. And then someone also said you need potassium. So I would have a banana before. That was like my pre-show routine, was a banana.
Yeah, right.
And I've been having bananas before every show, basically, and it hasn't happened. And for some reason, I could not find a banana anywhere in the area in Gatlinburg. And sure enough, during eruption, the hands start freezing up on me, and it's the worst feeling in the world. But I guess the way I reacted to it, people in the audience and the other guitar players, a good friend of mine, Brandon Paul, who's an awesome player, he thought it was a bit. So
Yeah.
But I was just worried someone was going to post it. So I haven't seen it posted anywhere, but it was,
Where
pretty awful.
is it smack dab in the middle of the set or toward the beginning or?
Oh, it was right near it was before the last two songs.
Oh, okay.
And it was the, hammer on climb at the
Yeah.
end. And, yeah, it's so depressing to have that happen to your hands. So, anyway, I found Banana since on the other two shows, and we're all good. So, it's the banana thing. So
was this
yeah,
the place where like Nuno was?
yes.
Was he in the crowd?
Well, turns out earlier in the day I got there and they were sound checking, and this is probably the coolest moment of the event for me. Gary was milling about on the side of the stage, and I was down the stairs on the side, just standing there. And he looked down at me, and he pointed at me, and he smiled, and he came running down the stairs and reached out his hand and said, "Hey, man, I love what you're doing, and I love the way you guys are doing it." And I was just like, "You know me?"
Dude, that's fucking awesome.
That's know
good.
me?
That's great.
It was really cool. Like, yeah, like a major moment of, wow, people are watching this, and, members of Van Halen are watching this. And, anyway, it was cool. And I ran into on the ramp in the back, when after Kotzen finished and Extreme was walking in for their set in an hour or so. Nuno and him were having a conversation, and
that's right. I saw this photo
walking in, and I was like, "Holy shit! There are two of the best guitar players on the frickin' planet. I have to get a picture." So I interrupted their conversation, and had them both sides, and like total stupid idiot. But I walked away kind of feeling like, did I just mess up their conversation? I probably did.
Absolutely, dude. Not if they're real men.
Yeah. But later on, I saw Nuno, and they had finished, and I was in my outfit, so he recognized me as the Nerd Halen guy, and he was like, "Hey, have a good show, man. I'm looking forward to it." And I'm like, "Oh shit." And it's so funny because I'm such a fanboy of his, especially. I was just like, we're shaking hands, and I'm looking at him, and I go, "I love you."
Yeah, he's badass, dude. He's crazy.
And he goes, "Right on, man." Like,
yeah.
But I just was like, this is really fucking happening. And we played, and I actually asked Gary earlier when I saw him if he'd come do a song with us. And he was like, and said, well, he did the old throat thing, like, we'll see how it is, And I was like, yeah, well, just like Ain't Talking About Love, just come on up. That'd be so huge for, all Van Halen fans.
Totally.
And apparently they were there in the back, their band and their crew, for about 2/3 of the set before their shuttle left for their hotel.
Right.
And their driver is a friend of mine, Rob, that I've known from the cruise we did, and he works for the Monsters, and he's been he helps out at the Whiskey, and I've just known him for years, and he was there watching because he was kind of trying to wrangle Gary in that direction to make it happen.
Yeah.
And Gary was asking him if he knew when Ain't Talking About Love was coming up in the set. And this, I'm going to regret this till the day I die. I never told Gary, just come up and we'll play Ain't Talking About Love wherever we are in the fucking set. But he didn't want to. He didn't want to interrupt our flow. So it turns out they left, and it didn't happen. But it was very close to happening, and it would have been amazing and very viral for Nerd Halen if that happened.
There will be other times, without a doubt.
Yes, but the show went off. Aside from my cramping on that part, the show was great, and the band really played well, and the response was off the charts, and it was cool because the whole day, like all the crew and the people that work for the Monsters kept saying like, man, everyone's talking about you guys. Like everybody wants to see you guys.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, I know. And I'm just like, wow, fuck, this is crazy. Because we had such a good showing on the boat earlier in the year. It's the same people, but a lot of the people who work that just heard about it. They didn't get to see it. So they were all kind of gunning for it. And it was at the end of the night, so most everyone could check it out. So
yeah, that's kind of the spot you want to have.
Yeah. So we woke up the next day and got on a plane. We went to the airport, and then we run into the entire Extreme crew in the same terminal because it's a very small airport.
Yeah.
And they were all very complimentary. Their front of house guy is this guy named Paul Hager, and he mixed a different kind of truth. So he's worked with Van Halen, and he was like, "Are you really getting that sound from the Headrush?" That's the first thing he wanted to know, and I was like,
"Brilliant.
Yes, that's all." Yeah, and he was like, "Man, that's
good news."
It's got the top end sizzle, and that's the term, that everyone uses when it comes to Ed's tone, is the top end sizzle, and so he said that, and then their bass player said the same thing, and he was grilling me about the Headrush, and I throw people off because I have that little micro EVH amp on my side of the stage, and I make them take all the Marshalls off. So there's a little micro EVH amp.
Not being used at all, correct?
Yeah, let me show you.
I always wanted to see a band have a whole wall of those really tiny little speakers, like Judas Priest back in the day.
So I ask guys if they have a stool or milk crates, to stack two on top of each other, and I say, we're putting this on that. Okay,
oh, that's brilliant.
And I got this little thing, and I put it behind. And I say, can you dead mic that with a 57? And the sound men think it's so fucking funny that they just start smirking because it's like, this is going to be interesting. And they, some of the sound men have mic'd it with two because of that.
That's gold. Gear wise, what exactly do you bring with you? How many guitars, and is it just the Headrush and any sort of speaker that you can hear yourself out of?
I just plug mono into a DI, and then I get through my monitor and through the sides. That's all I need. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Did you make the tones yourself, or did you have help?
The presets I have?
Yeah.
When I got it, I just started cycling through all of the stock stuff, and I got to this one called, it's 231. It's called Creamy Strat.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
And it's a Soldano head model.
Yeah.
The SLO. And it just sounded so good. So I just messed with a little EQ and then started programming each song in the set. I made one program so I can just cycle to the song to song to song. It's got its own delay setting in each one, and some of it has a little of the detune effect if it's a more modern, from Fair Warning on, kind of sound. And we get into that Sammy stuff, it's even more detuned, and so I'm trying to just get all the tones right. But that I'm using that Soldano head in the Headrush. It's very simple. People think it's like this incredible mix of tones and thing. I'm using a stock preset. It's great. And
what an endorsement for the Headrush as well.
Because this unit was $400.
Yeah, well, there you go.
And there's guys running around with 5,000 neural shit. This crazy crazy stuff, expensive
Yeah.
stuff.
Neely Brosh uses one as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I heard about it from Adam at FU Tone. Adam Reaver was really high on it for a while. And then I saw that Steve Brown was using it. And, Steve sent me some of his presets, which are pretty cool. And I turned John Levin onto it. John Levin, who is the most tone Nazi'd person I've ever met.
And he likes
And
it as well.
He's into it now, which is crazy. Because
is he still doing like Dawkins stuff?
Yeah, he's playing with Dawkins.
Okay, cool.
He's actually my lawyer too. He's my attorney for all things Nerd Halen. He made Nerd Halen a corporation, and he did our band agreement and everything.
John Levin is a god.
He is and he's amazing. Like, he is as good as anybody.
He's a great player.
Yes. So yeah. So the Extreme guys were more than complimentary, and then Nuno shows up last, and this was the moment of moments when he said, "Man, you got the tone, you got the feel. I love the band," and I was just like, "Fuck me,
kiss my mouth."
I just
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. What else do you want?
You could be supporting them. You could be on a tour with them at some stage. That's where this is going.
I feel it, and then we're jamming with them every night,
Yeah.
Like it. Yes. I mean, that's the thing about Nerd Halen, I think, is everyone hears it and goes, "No, ew," Nerd and Van Halen doesn't know. Ugh. So their body and their mind and their history of what's cool and what's not, it just doesn't work for them. But then they see it and they hear it or whatever, and they understand, oh, they're not making fun of Van Halen. They're nerdy about Van Halen, just like I am.
Yeah, 100%.
But I'm afraid to admit it.
Right.
So we're making everyone comfortable admitting that they're nerds about Van Halen, and that's where they go from being uncomfortable about it to being even more into it than they thought they ever would. And that's
brilliant.
That's what happens with everybody who comes along. I think. I hope.
Did you bring merch to the thing, to the gigs?
Yeah, this was the first time we had actual physical merch, because we have online merch that I use third party, but through the Monsters of Rock, they have a merch guy,
nice,
in-house, and I ordered 100 shirts through him, and he made them and brought them to the venue himself and put them up. And the next day, when I went to collect like 30 to take to Texas and leave whatever was left for the rest of the weekend, he told me that we'd already sold 47 shirts, and I was like, "Damn,
that's cool.
What?
That's good."
And I took 29 to Dallas, and I sold 24 the next night in Dallas.
And how was that gig?
Yeah, it was tight. It was tight because there was only one direct flight from Knoxville to Dallas that day on American Airlines, and of course, like, I'm checking the weather for 8, 9, 7, 6 days prior with the 10-day forecast, and it's all like 60% rain, fucking lightning bolts, in Knoxville for takeoff. And I'm just like, fuck, because we had a 3-hour window from landing to having to be on stage, because there was a hard curfew on the other end at 10 p.m. 3 hours. So
that is tight.
The plane is an hour and 15 minutes late. And luckily, there was a friend of one of the sound guys, a local guy who's in bands. He offered to pick us up and take us to the show in his SUV. And everything fit just perfectly in his huge, Escalade, SUV. like Tetris putting it in, like if I'd ordered an Uber, like we might have had a problem, because we would have got something too small and we would have had to reorder. It was just, and the guy wouldn't know we were going.
Yeah.
So this guy, Jet, who picked us up and took us, just saved our butts, got us there. We got there around 7. sound checked, went in the dressing room, changed, went on stage. It was all like that. It was crazy. Like I've never. I hope I never have an experience like that again. But
Right.
I enjoyed that we pulled it off. But it was so tight and very uncomfortable. The whole day was very stressful for me. I knew it would be. But it was a relief when it was over. And then I got off stage after that and literally came out and sold, 25 shirts, just hand them over a barricade to people and, stuffing my pocket with cash. And
My favorite shirt so far is the 018, the OU818. I forget what the name of
OU812, yeah.
Yes.
OU San Fernando Valley, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna get one of those.
So, yeah, it was a great
Performance
evening.
wise, how was it?
That was a really, we killed it, and
Yeah,
the response was great, and it was a cool looking venue because it's like a courtyard of outside, like a huge food hall, like
yeah,
this amazing food on like 3 levels of a building.
that's
And
amazing.
on the outside of each level is a balcony where everyone was sitting in each of those restaurants watching us. So it was kind of like a stadium feel. And just a great response. People really dug it, and we played really well, and we brought it. And it was funny because a week earlier, the promoter messaged me because I'd said, look, we're coming back to Texas at the beginning of October to play a wedding in Austin, but I want to add a Dallas show. Can we do another one at this venue that we're playing with you? And so a week early, he penciled us in, and he said, we'll talk about it. And
Nice.
then a week earlier, he said, look, it's not really selling that well. And I think the turnaround's too fast. So we're not going to do September 30th, but we'll talk after the show about future stuff. So after the show, he comes up and introduces himself because I hadn't met him yet. And he has the smile on his face because he really enjoyed what he just saw. And he said,
We'll make it fucking
well, I
happen.
definitely want you guys to come back. I don't know about September 30th, but I definitely would love to have you guys, 3 or 4 times next year. And I'm like, yeah.
Dude, that's awesome.
Right. So, and then a few days later, I got a message that he indeed wanted us for the September 30th now. And so we made a deal, and we're going to Dallas on the 30th, and then Austin to a wedding on Saturday the 1st. And then Sunday the 2nd, we play Austin local at the Speakeasy, a club downtown. So 3 in a row show, weekend in Texas. Dude, coming up.
That's amazing.
It is, and it's a nice little chunk of change for that weekend. So I'm really proud of how we're doing, and it's crazy. It's crazy, Sensei. I can't believe it. Can't believe it's happening.
Hold on for the ride because it'll be great.
It feels like it's the ripple effect from something like the Monsters, because people came from all over the world and all over the country to see that event. A lot of travelers for the Monsters of Rock cruise, and now they have the land-based event that they do. And so I love how all those people filter out to their areas, and they take with them, the best parts of the weekend. And I remember on a Facebook post in one of the groups, someone said, well, so what were the highlights of day one, at the end of the night? And like 30-40% of the comments had us in them, it was just,
that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, that's what you want. That is what you want.
Yeah.
Okay. So after Dallas,
we came home and, back to reality for a few days. And then, Friday, the other day, the 26th, we fly Southwest up to San Francisco. It's a little 45-minute flight, and so Enough's Enough, who we met on the cruise, Chip, who's one of the funniest coolest human beings alive. Really likes Hal, our singer. They go back, and he really loves the band and what we're doing. And I guess he told this promoter guy he's working with now that he didn't care what it cost them, just get Nerd Halen to open for us in San Francisco. And
What was the venue?
it's called the Bottom of the Hill.
I've heard of it.
It's not a very large place, but it's very historic.
Nice.
It's kind of like I don't know what it would be akin to in Los Angeles. Probably feels kind of like the Viper Room.
I've been
a little bigger than Viper Room, but
yeah,
has that vibe to it. And I think it goes way like back to the '60s or something. It's a very classic place. But they brought us up. They paid for our flights. They paid for our transportation. They paid for our hotels in this great hotel, and they gave us money for the gig. And we played 40 minutes.
Wow.
It's crazy.
That's great, yeah. And then you got to see Enough's Enough play.
I got to go up and sing Fly High Michelle, sing backups with them.
Brilliant.
Hal and I were on a mic, stage left, and that's one of my favorite songs of all time from the era, and it's so surreal to be doing that, and it was great.
Were you wearing your Nerd Halen stuff, or do you go backstage, change, and then come out?
I changed and packed up and did it all, and because there was a band in between us. There was the James Durbin guy from American Idol. He's got his own project, and they played in between. He's an amazing singer, by the way. Cool. James Durbin, if you haven't heard of him. I de-nerded, if it's possible. And but great time, and it was over before I knew it, and flew home.
Now, I read a Facebook post about a young kid who saw you play.
Oh yeah, in Plano. There was this kid right down in front, up against the barricade thing, and he had an Eddie Van Halen T-shirt on, which I thought was cool. That a kid, I think there's something very strange and very awesome about that, because you don't see kids wearing Eddie Van Halen shirts. It's just I mean, how does a kid, 9-year-old kid get into Van Halen like that in this day and age? When it's over. So I thought that was really cool, and he was looking at my hands the whole time, just focused on my hands. So I knew he was probably a guitar player. I knew he was playing if he was watching my hands. And I made it a point. I just kept looking at him throughout the show. And once in a while he'd look up and realize I was looking at him. And he'd kind of go like, get all shy and then look at his mom and smile. And she'd smile back. And I just, there's different things happening because of this whole experience, and that I thought that was one of the coolest so far, because I don't think I've seen a kid watching me play with that kind of face on, and it reminded me of myself. And if I was watching a Van Halen show from that close, I think I would have the same face, and it felt like a full circle moment in some ways. So after the show, a lot of people came up to that area of the stage on the left side, and his mom brought him over, and I gave him a pick. I think I even flipped him a few during the show, but I made sure he got one, and asked him his name, and and so I said, "Thank you for coming. And do you play?" And he's like, "Yes." And I'm like, "All right, well, keep playing. You never know." I played 8 hours a day, from 13 to 21. It takes that kind of effort to get to something you want to do. And So it was very sweet. And then his mom made a really nice post about it, and I thought that was cool. So
Nice.
Charlie, what's up, dude?
Yes.
Yeah, and I think I wrote in that post that at the mountain gig the night before, there was some Southern guy in a eruption shirt, and I'm talking to people after the show, and he's kind of off to my left, and he's looking at me, and he's just like shaking his head, and you can see he's like welling up with tears, and I'm like, "Hey
Whoa.
man, how you doing?" And he's like, you got no idea, man. You know, you really, you're really helping people out. What you're doing, you know." And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Man, I don't know. I'm still tore up from Ed's passing, and you just have no idea what you're doing to people with this, and I think it's really awesome." And I was just like, "What? Wow."
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of people are still hurt. A lot of people were shocked. I think I had some advanced knowledge that things were not well, and I wasn't caught off guard. It still hit me like a ton of bricks that he was actually gone. But I did know that he was ill for a while, and it didn't look good. But I think a lot of people didn't know that at all, so they just heard it and were just devastated.
Yeah, totally.
Completely. And I think this was one of those guys. So a tremendous response, and another thing I didn't expect to have as a byproduct of just doing a stupid tribute to Van Halen that's funny, but the funny is really working because everyone loves to laugh and smile.
Yes,
it's
100%.
Just natural to want that and enjoy that. And I thank you to Hal for bringing that part of it. He does so well with it. He knows exactly what to do and when to do it. And I couldn't be luckier to have him, as part of this thing we're doing, because I don't know what we even be without someone as good as him doing what he's doing. So
that's rad.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm fine. I just dropped another Van Halen video today.
Of course.
We can't paint the Frankenstrat 7-string until it's raining every day. Victor can't take it outside to paint it.
Which one is this?
I'm getting a Frankenstrat made, but a 7-string. So it's going to look like an Ibanez Universe. It's got the reverse headstock.
Yes.
And so you had it. What you did? Maybe seen some photos of it.
You did it black and white.
Right now, black and white.
And you did the tape over, and you're going to shoot it red.
Yes.
Okay.
And, there's going to be some bare knuckle Blackhawks in it that work. I'm getting a kill switch, and I think just a volume knob, maybe a tone. I don't know exactly what Eddie had.
Who needs a tone knob, dude?
I don't think anybody does.
What is that for?
It's just another fucking distraction.
It is.
So yeah. And I've got there's a local dude in Melbourne who made Victor and myself some pickups. So I'm throwing his pickups. Joel Henderson, I'm throwing your pickups in an Ibanez RG565. And I don't know what Victor's doing with his. He's just bought he's bought an old Hamer from like a guitar shop or something. So he might be, I don't know what he's fucking doing. But that's basically kind of it in a nutshell. And we're doing a friend and I, and some other friends are doing we're doing a metal tribute band that's got it's called Contact. But instead of the U, we have parentheses. So it could be either Contact or Contact, depending on how you want to say the name of the band. And so we're doing like Warrant and Slayer and Pantera and that kind of a thing. We will get around to Van Halen. I've actually raised my hand and said we should probably do Mean Street because it does have like 2 guitar player parts, which I think would go well.
Right.
And so we'll see how we go.
Yeah,
we're going to wear the wigs and all that shit.
Yeah. We're about to put Mean Street. We've only done it once, I think, at one show. We're going to put it back in
Nice. That would be
And I
a
think
that would be a
I'm gonna
great
finally,
song to do.
I'm finally gonna try and get it because
Yeah.
it's something.
Oh, the solo's a
It
bitch.
is
Oh.
that.
And of course, you'll be doing the tapping thing in the beginning.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
You know, I have it kind of, but it's not it, and it's so hard to get that like paradiddle thing he's doing.
Right.
Double paradiddle. It feels like because this hand's just as important. Than
Oh, of the muting, yeah, because it's a totally percussive type of
it's
thing.
that
There's
part.
a
It's that
dude.
that part.
Yeah.
I can't get that. But
Have you? There's a guy I follow on YouTube. I think his name is Yo Bro Man.
yeah, I saw your video where you said, "I'm not even going to fucking teach you this. Go
Right.
here and
Yeah,
learn
yeah,
from
yeah.
this
That's
guy."
the guy. That's the guy who. But there's other dudes out there as well that are that maybe not be able to teach it like he does, but can absolutely play the shit out of it. I've
Well,
seen some dudes that just do it spot
Jay
fucking on.
Jay Hannon, the co-host on the new Under the Bus show that I'm on. By the way, Under the Bus Network. We do a show every Wednesday night.
Is it a podcast?
It's a podcast, but it's a YouTube show on
Nice.
Wednesday evenings here.
I'll post it in the comments below.
Yeah, I'm one of the 4 guys that started it. We evolved from another channel, and started our own thing. But Jay, who was the guitar player in Gizmochi, if you know that band,
No, I don't.
he's big Van Halen fan. He does Mean Street as good as anybody I've ever seen. He does the intro as good as anybody.
That's rad.
So I'm thinking of just woodshedding with him for a couple of hours until I get it. So, because I played the song and I got the solo and it's so killer. The riffs on 4 of those songs on Fair Warning are some of the most badass stank face riffs of all time. And it happens in Mean Streets, it happens in Dirty Movies,
Yes.
it happens in Unchained. It's got 3 of the best riffs of all time in one song.
Yeah.
And what's the 4th one on that record? That's probably
To either hear about it later or
Sinner Swing is pretty good.
yes.
But yeah, I mean it's devastatingly good.
When I'm driving in the car and I have a CD player in the car,
Mm-hmm.
I listen religiously to the first 4 tracks, which are Mean Street, Dirty Movies, Sinner's Swing, and Hear About It Later. And then I'll either go straight to One Foot Out the Door or just go right back to the first track again. But I love the segue. And at the end of Dirty Movies, no, you can hear like his flanger is the same speed as like a car siren, because I thought it was a cop car in the background going, but it's his guitar.
Yep.
I love it.
Yep.
I love it.
Like if there was ever a movie made, it would never be. First of all, it would never be good enough because we're such nerds that no one would make it good enough. But
No.
I want one scene just to be about when he discovered that setting on his MXR flanger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's like the greatest setting on any guitar effects pedal of all time. That setting. It is. It just is.
And the fact that it sweeps upward.
Yeah. In time with,
Yeah.
because he uses it,
And then it sweeps downward
yeah.
in the same fucking song. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
that's some magic shit.
It's magic. It's someone who just plays all day and night, but
He's not afraid to tweak a button here and there.
yeah. So we're having fun. It's going well.
Give me the dates right now for what you can.
Okay, the end of September and into October is pretty frenetic. The first week, first couple weeks, we have September 30th, Plano, Texas, Austin October 1st, Austin wedding, private event. Sorry.
Nice.
October 2nd, the Speakeasy in Austin. So hang out in Austin. We'll be there. Then October 5th at Yamava Casino at the Rock and Brews. That's a Wednesday night. And then October 12th, we're going to play at the Whiskey for an MS benefit that Hal is co-hosting. And there's a few bands playing. And I think we're going to play like 2 or 3 or 4 songs. So
cool.
That'll be fun.
And then make sure. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Keep going. I'm sorry.
No, that's all that's on the schedule that I can say. I know we have something coming up in Vegas in January. I won't say where it is because they want to announce it in October. So
very cool. Who runs your website? Who updates it?
Me.
Will these things be on there?
Yeah, they're on right now. The shows, upcoming shows.
Okay,
it's all loaded in. There's I haven't loaded the ticket links in for Plano and Austin yet because I don't think they're actually up yet, but they should be any moment or day now. So
okay, and what's up on the triple or quadruple the amount of merch that you are taking?
Oh yeah, I'm taking all the money that we just made from the initial run and just putting it back in and getting more. And I'm going to do that a bunch of times until I don't know. I think that's just how you do it. You just keep making more and not paying anyone out because it would be pennies anyway. And we got to just keep turning and burning. And, you know, the people walking around with a shirt on goes a long way.
Of course it does.
It's moving ad space. It's great. So,
will you ever get a Nerd Halen tattoo?
No, I don't think so. I don't have any yet.
Dude, you'll get one and then you'll go fucking crazy.
I know, and I'm afraid of that.
It's the best feeling ever. I want more.
I think I'll put my kids on me first, their names or something, and then
absolutely you should.
Yeah,
in the Van Halen font.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, it's something to think about while you're booking all these gigs everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll put 3/18/83.
Do it.
That's the day it all changed.
Nice. So. We're going to go now.
Okay.
And I will talk to you soon.
Oh, I think we should check in. Periodically, right?
Dude, we're on Facebook. All you have to do is message me and be like, I got something to talk about. And I'll be like, yeah, for sure. Let's do it.
I love doing this. And you're a hero of mine. And I appreciate you doing this for me and bringing me to your following. And
anytime.
And we're all, everyone who follows and subscribes to you, it does not even because you're such a ripping guitar player. It's because you're a beautiful dude and everyone can tell.
Thanks, man.
It's just a fact.
Thank you. So, well, that's nice. I try not to be a dick.
No. I don't. I mean, sometimes it's cool.
It depends. Depends on who's pissing me off.
There's people out there I can't please, and I never will. And it's fun though, because they're more and more every day, and that only means it's getting better and better for me. So
we'll talk to you soon, brother.